Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope everyone is doing well this holiday week. So, today I want to talk to you about chasing perfection. When it comes to Masterpiece Transformers, chasing perfection is what Masterpiece collecting is. In fact, Masterpiece Transformers are supposed to be the most definitive version of the character that you can get. But we run into a couple of issues, because sometimes you end up with 6 of the most definitive versions of characters. Well, we're going to discuss chasing perfection from the form of designers to collectors, and then we're going to talk about the good and the bad, the pluses and minuses of chasing perfection. Coming up. First off, when the MP01 came out, it was exciting, it was amazing, but I knew it wasn't perfect, it wasn't definitive, it was the best we'd ever seen at that point, but it was not definitive. And, with that, it took them 3 tries. Now, I believe that Takara wanted to do better. They wanted to make a better figure. And then by the time we got to MP44, a lot of people said it was a cash grab. MP44 is a cash grab, but there's too much involved in it to just be a cash grab. I believe that this was a labor of love, and they wanted to do a great job. They wanted to make this as screen accurate as possible, make it as close to perfection as possible, and that's why they did it. It was expensive, and I'm sure they made quite a bit of money doing it, and that's one of the things. You have your passion for whatever you do, and you do a great job, you should be compensated. Maybe not as well as they were compensated for that one, but still, it is a great figure. Is it definitive? Well, that's up to the collector, right? When you look at, say, their MP05, that was a terrible figure. And yeah, it was still in the 12-inch scale, and I have it because it's the only 12-inch Megatron I've got. I didn't get the Wii Shang and all that kind of stuff. But with it, they had to do better, and of course they did better, and they put it in the new 9-inch scale to get the MP36. So here we go, chasing perfection to the MP36. And so with that, Takara sort of leads everything. Takara and their chasing perfection is going to affect other companies and how they do things with chasing perfection. When it comes to X-Transbots and when it comes to Fans Toys, MMC does its own thing, and you could probably say some of their characters, because they're stylized, are perfect in a way, but maybe not. Takara wasn't happy with their Seekers originally. They put out minor updates and fixes which really needed to happen that made major differences to the MP03 to make it MP11, but then the newer ones, I think, are MP52, I believe. Anyway, the newest Seekers, they do look great, but did they win the Seeker War? Is there a definitive Seeker just yet? Well, the deformation space is pretty good. X-Transbots obviously wants to do well. They want to one-up everything that's going on out there, including themselves, with a 2.0 Apollyon. They just hinted at it. I checked, it's been March since they hinted, and not even a picture that can be seen. But anyway, that's one of the things that these third-party companies do sort of follow Takara in what they do. I'm glad Takara's taking a break from 2.0s and 3.0s. That's very nice of them, and they're giving us some new stuff. The next Transbots is chasing perfection with their, well, probably 30, 40 different characters. But most recently, we've got this guy coming out, so their Ultra Magnus does look pretty good. Chasing perfection right there. In fact, in many ways, this will look better than the Fans Toys for some people. So this could win some aspects over the Fans Toys. And with the premium paint and all that kind of stuff, looking pretty good. One of the things, of course, Fans Toys, they chase perfection. They've been chasing perfection since day one. And you know what? You can't have much more of a tune-accurate representation of Dinobots than their Dinobots. They're closer to tune-accurate than Gigapower, even though I went full-on 100% Gigapower, and I'm a G1 tune to a detriment kind of guy. But with them, even they wanted to chase perfection themselves when it came to getting the Cesium Salami. So Cesium versus the Scoria, and Cesium's bigger and looks a little bit more like the cartoon, all that kind of stuff, and fits in with the rest of their dinos a little bit better. But my favorite out of all of theirs is still Swoop. Fans Toys chasing perfection, of course, with their Spindrift, and they wanted to be better, and so they one up themselves. Still think X-Transbots wins that one. But see, at the end of the day, though, even Fans Toys' one of their worst offerings, which is Spindrift, isn't a bad figure. You can also argue that Fans Toys is chasing perfection. Whether or not they're doing a second version of their own, every figure that they put out is pushing towards perfection, pushing towards being the definitive figure. I actually don't think companies like Fans Toys or X Transbots truly want to do a 2.0, because if they do a 2.0, they're admitting a failure. That's all there is to it. Any one of these companies that does a 2.0 is admitting failure on their first go around at Masterpiece, because Masterpiece is supposed to be definitive, the definitive version. And if your last one was not a definitive version, you didn't live up to Masterpiece level, you try again. You got to do it over. I don't really feel that way when it comes to Tesla. I don't think the first Tesla was bad, but we got two more good options that are out there, so that works. So now, looking at this from a collector standpoint, companies could not get away with all of this chasing perfection if it wasn't for collectors chasing perfection. So the collectors are the ones demanding the perfection, chasing the perfection, and paying for the perfection. So we couldn't have this if collectors just didn't buy new stuff if they already had one on the shelf. But we still don't have a definitive, perfect RC. You can look at all these and say which one you like the best, but at the end of the day, none are 100% perfect. The only way to get a perfect RC is to make just a standalone action figure that doesn't transform. Or somebody does it and proves me wrong. So the positive of constantly chasing perfection as a collector is that you have the best version and you get it for retail price. Always you want to get it for retail price, but I'm looking at all of these here, and all of these here have gone on sale at one point in time. Even, I think the X Transbots even went on a sale. So all of these were cheaper than retail at one point in time. At one point in time. So sometimes when you buy things right away, people that didn't chase perfection right away got a deal 6 months, 8 months, 10 months later. Sometimes people that chase perfection actually pass on a lot of stuff and they say, I'm waiting for the Fans Toys. I'm waiting for what I think is the most definitive version. And so that happened with the DX9. I bought the DX9 and I actually passed on this because I thought it was good enough, but I realized I was fooling myself. But still, at the end of the day, if you continually chase perfection, it means that you don't settle for less. So that's another concept. Do you settle for less? And the people with their mindset saying, I want the most definitive, perfect version, and I'll wait for it, and I don't want to deal with the hassle of reselling my stuff. Well, at the end of the day, you might actually win, but you'll be waiting a long time. A lot of people thought they found perfection with Constructor, and the people who thought Constructor was the best, most definitive version of a Devastator, they call themselves Toy World or Zeta. But who knows what's coming next? I think X Transbots is gonna make a very nice looking combiner, and I think it'll be stable because they're gonna learn something from it. X Transbots has been showing that they have a tendency to learn, improve, and do better lately because they want to satisfy the market. But then again, they could always regress. Who knows? But looks everything. If looks are everything to you, I bet it's just gonna look the best. Another concept of chasing perfection, are you chasing perfection of quality? Because one of the things when it comes to this character, Takara delivered a great quality figure. It's not the most fun transformation in the world, but we've had other ones in the past with Omnigonic Spin Out, and the Bad Cube one wasn't bad, but it was a Bad Cube product, so it was a challenging transformation also, in a way. But at the end of the day, waiting and holding out for something that is closer to perfection with this guy, chasing perfection here, was better off for a lot of those collectors. I ended up picking all of those up, but I think this is the best one. So this is still, in my opinion, the best one. But I still don't feel like it's perfect, but pretty darn near close. Some of the negatives to chasing perfection is selling off your collection, your older stuff. That's always a negative. That always sucks. It's always a pain because they fall out of favor and all that kind of stuff. So with that, chasing perfection can be costly, and it could cost you not just time, money, and effort, but it could also cost you the fun factor, because it's just no fun watching your older stuff become almost worthless. Like I touched on earlier, one of the negatives to chasing perfection and holding out is the wait. So it's a long wait for some of these things. More for Masterpiece Transformers than any other line, because there's more time, effort, and development that has to go into a transforming figure than an action figure. Action figures have become complex. Don't get me wrong, 30 points of articulation, 72 points of articulation. But a transforming action figure has so much more involved in it. And 2 or 3 minor issues with quality concerns or design concerns could make a completely unusable figure, as to where you could probably make some minor adjustments and changes to a standard action figure. So the wait is a long one, but Transformer Masterpiece collectors understand that, and they accept that as being part of the hobby and par for the course. The last negative, and I really want to touch on this last negative of chasing perfection. You'll never get it. It's never going to be achievable. There's never going to be anything that's perfect that can't be improved upon. And so with that, I have to reevaluate how I look at things, because I always thought I was chasing perfection. Well, in the early days, I was chasing cheap. I was chasing cheap in the early days, and then I started most recently chasing perfection, and I realized there's no such thing. There's going to be some things I like better about one figure, and some things I like less about that figure compared to other figures. At the end of the day, your perfection that you are chasing has to be the one that you like the most at the end of the day, because you're never going to get perfect. You're never going to get it exact. And then there comes down to, are there 20,000 different versions of perfect with 20,000 different collectors? I'm probably overestimating. 5,000 collectors? 5,000 versions? Anyhow, I really do think there is no such thing as perfect. There is no such thing as 100% definitive. And so this goal that we strive for chasing perfection and chasing the definitive versions, well, we're going to end up finding that we will fail in one way, shape, or form. We just need to be happy with one in one way, shape, or form. If I do have to tell you, the cycle will never end. We're going to keep getting more figures coming in the future, more things to look forward to, more widgets to buy, and more carrots to move to get us excited about buying this stuff. So anyway, what do you guys think about chasing perfection? Do you find yourself getting caught up in chasing perfection yourself? Or are you, like I was and sometimes wish I still was, chasing cheap? Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe. Tiberium Hanger out.